Gas prices continue to fall in the wake of an initial deal with Iran. They're now below $4 a gallon for the first time in months, and that is good news. But the president is facing major pushback on parts of the deal, including from his own party. Ed O'Keefe is at the White House with more. Ed, good morning.
Adriana, good to see you. You know, this agreement earned nearly universal praise from European leaders President Trump met with this week. Even the Pope supports it because they're eager to see the conflict resolved. But back here at home, the president faces intense bipartisan criticism, even as he says it's better than the alternative: prolonged war and global economic uncertainty. President Trump picked a famous peace treaty setting, the ornate Palace of Versailles, at a private dinner with the French president to sign the memo that sets up 60 days of talks with Iran. Only then the two sides will begin hammering out his long-stated main objective.
Iran will never have a nuclear weapon.
The U.S. and Iran have 2 months to address the issue of nuclear enrichment and resolve how to dispose of Iran's enriched uranium. But the president warned it may take more time.
Could take longer. Just as long as they're behaving, I really don't care that much.
Earlier, he conceded domestic political pressure compelled him to act.
I didn't want to see economic catastrophe. If you kept this going, that could have happened. But all I know is every time we talked about the possibility of peace, the stock market shot up like a rocket ship.
And despite declaring on the first day of the attacks,
we are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground.
Now he says Iran should have ballistic missiles for self-defense.
I'm saying that if other countries have them, it's a little bit unfair for them not to have some.
But back home,
well, it's going to lead Iran stronger.
Louisiana Republican Senator Bill Cassidy called the deal the worst foreign policy blunder in decades. North Carolina Republican Senator Tom Tillis says Congress should get to sign off.
The only way you get an agreement that lasts for a generation is to have the binding force of a congressionally ratified treaty or agreement.
And Democrats argue Trump gave away too much to Iran.
Trump started this war. He didn't know how to finish it. And it looks like in too many ways he has just capitulated to the Iranians.
While the president and Iran's leadership have now officially signed off on the deal, Vice President Vance is still scheduled to visit Switzerland to meet with Iranian leaders tomorrow. And we expect the first round of technical talks to begin on Saturday. Vlad?
All right, Ed, thank you very much. For more on the deal, let's bring in CBS News national security analyst Aaron McLean. Aaron, good morning.
Good morning.
So if you compare the administration's publicly stated objectives at the outset of this conflict with the terms that appear in this memorandum, how large is the gap between the war aims and the settlement? What original goals were achieved, which were modified, and which appeared to have been abandoned altogether?
Gosh, the gap is pretty vast, Vlad. I'm struck by the symbolism of this MOU getting signed at Versailles. I don't know how your World War I history is, but the Treaty of Versailles didn't work out that well in the end. And I think the prospects of this MOU achieving even the limited goal, which is the one the administration is still pursuing, which is the ending of Iran's pursuit of nuclear weapons, is also pretty limited. There's been a lot of discussion in the last few weeks about how comparable this deal is going to be to the JCPOA. Well, now we have the text. I think in several material aspects, the deal is actually weaker for the United States than the JCPOA, to include especially on sanctions relief in the Strait of Hormuz. It's really quite remarkable.
So the agreement starts a 60-day negotiating period for a final deal. With what you just said, what would a successful end to this conflict look like?
Well, I think for the president and the administration, the goal they've continually articulated is it will end Iran's pursuit of nuclear weapons. They will never get a nuclear weapon as a consequence of this deal. That's their goal. However, I think they've set themselves up in a negotiating structure that's going to make that extremely difficult. They're giving up a ton of leverage at the front end here. They are lifting the blockade. They're giving sanctions waivers. A series of other measures. They're going to flow billions of dollars into Iran over the next couple of months. Having done all that up front in order for Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz, they are then going to sit down and begin these so-called technical talks to work out the nuclear issue. So they give billions of dollars up front, and then down the road they say, hey, can you give us a bunch of concessions on your nuclear program? Yeah. We'll see how that works out, Vlad.
15 seconds, Aaron. Better deal for Iran or better deal for the U.S.?
Absolutely a better deal for Iran. Now, you never know what the president's going to do. He can flip on a dime again here in the weeks to come. Also, he needs congressional review for some of this stuff, so the future's unclear.
All right, Aaron McLean for us. Thank you very much.